What's up, metal and heavy music fans? It's Flight of Icarus again with metaltrenches.com, and I've got 5 more releases that you won't want to miss. And if you want to stay up to date with the best and brightest metal bands and albums from the underground and above, then stick with me by hitting that subscribe button down below. But let's get into the list. Alright, first up we've got current and former members of Counterparts, the Dillinger Escape Plan, Fit for an Autopsy, Misery Signal, Shai Hulud, and Reign Supreme, joining forces to drop the megaton bomb that is End, and their debut full-length Splinters from an Ever-Changing Face via closed casket activities. The lineup of this supergroup sets a seriously high bar for End to live up to, obviously, and thankfully they clear it like a gold medal Olympic high jumper. To call this album a crusher is a pathetic understatement. The buzzing HM2 distortion, berating D-beats, and vitriolic hardcore vocals are a triple threat of complete annihilation.
Why you have to be mad?
Brendan Murphy of Counterparts fame seems to channel dark sludge acts like The Lion's Daughter to spit hot fury like never before. It's like Botch T-boned Converge and they had a road raid fueled brass knuckle brawl right in the middle of the intersection. Tracks like Captive to My Curse and Evening Arms don't encourage violence, they are violence. When combined with the chaotic panic chords and relentless cascade of toms, you'll be lucky not to leave in a full body cast. Fuck sticks and stones, these words will hurt you. Seriously, if these guys decide to hit the road with the likes of Knocked Loose, Vane, Harm's Way, or Code Orange, there will be no survivors. Alright, next up we've got classic melodeath hooks from Hungarian band Nygmalion and their debut album Deluminate. I'd recommend Nygmalion to fans of Arch Enemy, At the Gates, and The Haunted. For a long time, melodic death metal was my favorite genre during its heyday in the early 2000s. The seemingly endless wave of Gothenburg and similarly inspired bands seemed incapable of doing wrong and formed the perfect bridge to the more extreme music I listen to today. Unfortunately, to once again quote Blade Runner,
"The light that burns twice as bright burns half as long, and you have burned so very, very brightly, Roy."
And since then the genre has become a shadow of its former self. All the more reason to shout from the mountaintops when the occasional standout release like Deluminate comes knocking at my door. It's bands like Nygmalion that once again encapsulate why I built this platform to begin with, lest they be lost in the eternal shuffle of new music. From the incredibly catchy riffage and bellowing Devil Driver-esque snarls of their namesake track to the instrumental barrage of soaring solos and rumbling bass of Relapse X, this entire album transports me back to simpler times listening to Wages of Sin and Reroute to Remain. The closest comparison is probably early Arch Enemy, though some of the more melodic riffs give me nostalgic metalcore vibes as well. Deluminate is an impressive and ultimately rare album in a genre that feels ripe for a resurgence with new bands like Silence Lies Fear, Serenity and Murder, and yes, Nygmalion. Get it now via Bandcamp. Alright, flipping the switch to something a little bit more bizarre, we've got UK experimental mathcore gent act Zilf dropping their most ambitious and quite frankly insane album to date. Zilf's The Album is perhaps most simply described as the quirkiness of Devin Townsend and Mr. Bungle channeled through fans of gent and mathcore. I'm also picking up on notes of fellow UK band The Hell in terms of sense of humor and eclectic vocal delivery on tracks like When the Cat Has Your Tongue and Zeph. But really, this album is all over the place stylistically, and attempts to nail it down to any particular genre can only capture fleeting snapshots of the complete picture. Seriously, this is one of those bands where picking samples to play for you just never quite cuts it, because it's not going to even come close to giving you a full idea of what to expect from this thing. Even bangers like Endless, more in line with other underground mathcore like The Sound That Ends Creation, take detours into more serious, sorrowful, clean-sung choruses that defy simple categorization. For every straight rager like Kayak or the D-beat-driven R.I.P. in Peace, there is the more bizarre counterweight of Bowling Green Massacre, the swing-infused Sangfreud, or burn-it-all-down simplicity of Tarantula Hawk. It's a lot to wrap one's brain around, but frankly, I'm thankful for the challenge. Zilf continue to prove themselves to be one of the oddest of the oddballs out there, and I deeply respect the level of experimentation that this band is willing to engage in, seemingly regardless of how listeners will respond. It's definitely not for everyone, but those looking for something wholly unique will be rewarded. Alright, time to get a bit heavier here with brutal technical death metal band Serocs, featuring members of Cathilist, Benighted, and Sutra, going full scorched earth with their new EP Vore via Everlasting Spew. I'd recommend Serocs for fans of First Fragment, Benighted, and Cryptopsy. 2018's The Phobos Demos Suite was easily among the best albums of that year, one that even inspired the initial rough episodes of the Trench Talk podcast. Vore continues Serocs' violent crusade for dominance in the genre with 4 more tracks and an interlude to further contort the senses. The album is a positively disorienting display of technical prowess packed with twisted, unpredictable guitar riffs, chaotically blasting drums, and utterly demented bass tone. It sounds as if the harmonized guitars are locked in a high-octane race to fiery death with real-time guttural commentary. It's the perfect balance of soaring, strangely melodic proficiency and excoriating brutality, featuring everything from more accessible The Black Dahlia Murder solos to deeply challenging material that is decidedly not for the first-time tech death listener. Vore should be a no-brainer for current fans of Serocs and the extreme technical genres, but may also serve as a solid gateway album given its constant traversal between the familiar and complete horrific oblivion. And last but not least, it's the return of Australian progressive metalcore band Make Them Suffer, rising above the rest once more with How to Survive a Funeral via Rise Records. I absolutely fell in love with 2017's Worlds Apart. Their particular fusion of djenty Architects riffs, high-energy vocal performances, and melodic synths checked all the right boxes for me, and Make Them Suffer have done it yet again with this new album. They really run the gamut with a dynamic range that includes everything from catchy anthems in the vein of Under Oath and A Day to Remember, to absolutely bodying quasi-death metal slammers like Fake Your Own Death and That's Just Life. This was already impressive on the previous album thanks to lead vocalist Sean Harmonis's vicious snarls and keyboardist Booka Niles' angelic cleans. But now that the member changeovers have settled in, the interplay of these styles really shines on the likes of Erase Me and Drown With Me. The latter of which alternates between groovy deathcore pummeling and saccharine poppy-esque singing perhaps more seamlessly than any other band I've heard before. I've been raving a lot this year about the resurgence of talented and hungry young metalcore bands like Polaris and Bury Tomorrow just killing it, but How to Survive a Funeral may just come out on top of the pack. Every song is a hit and the performances are utterly engrossing from front to back. And that's it, y'all. 5 more releases that you should definitely check out from the month of June. And if you enjoyed these, this is part 2, really, so there's even more that you can check out. Stick around after this video, please, because in addition to these roundups and the other single album reviews that I've done, there's also been a bunch of tier lists, there's new episodes of the podcast, so much to enjoy. So hey, subscribe if you haven't already, and also in the description you can find links to all of our social media, the email newsletter, and also our Patreon and Subscribestar if you want to make that quick extra jump to becoming a supporter. We'd really appreciate it. But I think that'll do it for now. Flight of Icarus signing off. I will see you in the trenches.